me a favour and tell me, just nod the head that you can see that I've shared it properly? Excellent. Well, what we're going to look at tonight is personal development and goals, probably because I've been talking to someone who's not in the business, in another business altogether, and found that they were setting, many years ago they set their goals, and realised that the way they had got to where they are today is through personal development. And that came about over a 5-year period. So it wasn't something that came about overnight. It was something that took a wee while. And what I'm going to do with the personal development is really just show you that although we do trainings, it's not because we're brighter, cleverer, or anything else than anyone else. Only that we either read or we do a bit of research, because to put the training together, that's what you have to do. So it says here, it's good to have an end in mind, but in the end, what counts is how you travel. It's just another way to say, your journey is so important. Orna Ross, that's who the quote is attributed to. And I really liked this wee poem. I found it in a very old book. I'm not sure. Of course, it comes up backwards. I'll tell you whose it is. It's your Erroneous Zones, and that's Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's an old book, and it has very old print and old writing. But I really like this. I want to travel as far as I can go. I want to reach the joy that's in my soul and change the limitations that I know, and feel my mind and spirit grow. I want to live, exist, to be, and hear the truths inside of me. Maybe it just resonated with me because I think, yes, that's probably how I feel, and have done for a long time. And I'm sure many of you do too. I think one of the first things about personal development, though, is to identify us to ourselves, know who we are, but also know the person that other people see, because often it's not quite the same. We often show ourselves to people, but we show different parts of ourselves, depending on how comfortable we are with the person to whom we're speaking. And again, there was another book that's been on the go for a long, long time was Personality Plus. However, that new book by Nigel Reisner, it's a zoo around here, The New Rules for Better Communication. It's very similar. There's personality profiling, but it just gives us a better idea of how we like to communicate with other people. But more importantly, it gives us a better idea of how other people need to be communicated with. And I think this is really important when we're running teams, when we're running meetings. There's absolutely no point in having loads and loads of facts and figures if the people to whom you're speaking just don't work in that zone. So as I say here, it's important when we're building a business and working with people we don't know yet. And one of the things I came across, and you may well all have seen it a long time ago, is listen. It's just silent. The same letters, but in a different order. And I thought that was really, really quite important. And again, as I say, it's the only way I found that information is by reading, listening to audios, and listening to other people as well, other people who are on that personal development journey. Association, though, plays a big part in our lives, because you see, if you're not associating with the people who are on the personal development journey, you're never going to get some hint and tips about what books to read, what audios to listen to, what webinars to tune into. And so it becomes much more time consuming for an individual, whereas if you have that association, then it allows you to take shortcuts. Ben Steen says the indispensable first step to getting the things you want out of life is to decide what you want. Now, that came from another book, Brian Main's Goal Mapping, the Practical Workbook, How to Turn Your Dreams into Realities. So are we set, or are we ready to set some goals? Setting goals is not just for ourselves, but also to help other team members to set goals. Because, you know, there is no I, as we always hear and know in team. It's a we proposition. But if you are the only one that's growing, then it's a big team to build. Whereas if you and your team are growing, then that's when you see the difference, the excitement, the motivation, the help. First of all, though, identify your I'ms. I'm quite shy. I'm quite quiet. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm not confident. I'm not good at getting up in the morning. Now, usually these phrases have been told to us by other people. Other people are describing us, and perhaps that's the way they've found us at that time. But remember, we don't live at that time that they're describing. So sometimes we describe ourselves in the way we've heard ourselves described, which isn't really quite correct. But worse still, we sometimes portray ourselves in the way that we've heard ourselves described. And that is it's not a comfortable place for us to be. It's a limiting place. And these will limit you in your goal setting, because you'll remember your I'ms. But what goals are you going to set? Because these are always, it's always something you think, right, okay, what do I want? Well, age and circumstances often determine our goals. I know my goals are totally different from my 30s, from my 40s, totally. I was in a different way of life. I was in a different career. I had to do different things. I was still striving for different things. So you need to identify where you are at this particular moment. Also, when you're speaking to new team members, help them to identify where they are as well. So do you want stuff? I mean, I wanted stuff. There's nothing wrong with wanting stuff, but I maybe don't want stuff now. You know, you try to get rid of stuff as you get older. But maybe it's just new clothes. I remember speaking to someone who wanted a new pair of sandals in a week. That's great. Why not? If that's what you want, that's great. It's a goal. But you might want to change your car, or maybe if you're like Steve, you just changed your car. But maybe you want to change your car. Maybe you want to change your house. Maybe you want to pay your bills or get rid of borrowing. Now, they always say that paying bills is a very negative goal to have. It's only a negative goal if you're not the one who wants to pay your bills. So if that's your goal, go for it. Just make sure there are other goals as well. Do you want to travel? Are you like Louise and want to travel and like dotting off quite regularly? Do you want to save for a mortgage, or do you want to reduce your term of your mortgage? Do you want to get rid of it a bit quicker? I know people who have a mortgage that won't be repaid until they're in their 70s. If that's you, speak to me and I'll tell you how you can reduce your term. You want your funds free at that time of your life. But maybe you want a change of job, a change of career. Maybe you like what you have, but you just don't want to achieve it in the same way as you are at the moment. Do you want to supplement your pension? I never understood why people said, yes, you can live on less when you retire. Why? If that's your choice to do so, that's great. But if it's not your choice, then no. Why have all that free time and not use it in whichever way you want to? Or do you want to make sure that you're never made redundant? Because if you're self-employed, you will never be made redundant. All you have to do is make sure that you set your goals and work towards them. But the list's endless. And before a new person joins your business, you'll probably have asked many of the questions, and you'll have some of the answers. But also when you ask the questions of yourself, you'll only have some of those answers. You might not have thought about it long enough, or where you are today is not where you are tomorrow. And take time to record your goals. They're important. Abraham Lincoln said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. So, think about your goals. Make sure they are what you want, not what you think you should have. Viva MK, now I've talked about personal goals because really Viva MK is your vehicle to achieve your personal goals. And let's look at the very first Viva MK goal that will give you £525 a month and an annual income of £6,300. That's a very good supplement if you are working a full-time job. Or indeed, if you're on a pension or whatever your circumstances are, it's a very good extra income. And here is how one of the trainings that we did quite recently showed how if this is what you did on a part-time basis, retailed 1,000 and showed 3 other people that you knew, and one of your friends showed one of their friends how to do £1,000 of retail every month, then your profit's £525. Multiply it up, you've got £6,300 for a year. Let's have a look at this though, because this is where you can see substantial income coming in. And there are people who work for a salary of £10,740. Sad as it may be, but that at the moment, I think, is it £7.57, the hourly rate? If you multiply that by 37.5, because that's supposed to be how long people work, and you multiply that up, it's just short of 15,000 a year. Another 10,000 on top of that takes that into a quite difficult to handle if you have a house, a mortgage and family. Salary at just under 15,000, chop that up with another £10,700 and you've got a comfortable life. And what do you need to do? Well, this time, you see, you've spoken to 5 of your friends and you've shown them how to retail. One of your friends has gone on and built a business similar to the one you had in the previous slide, and one of other of your friends has started introducing people. There you are, a monthly total of £895. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. Abraham Lincoln again. You're the leader in your business. Yet other people will come into your business and they will be leaders too. But ultimately, your business, you're the leader of it, and you want to keep your resolution to succeed in there. But write your goals down. Put a date against them. When do you want to achieve them? What you want today might change tomorrow. Might take a while, but it might change tomorrow. Because sometimes today we're drawn into some other drama that's going on in our lives, and tomorrow the drama has disappeared and we can think a wee bit more clearly. So you may well refine your goals in the future as you develop, and developing is personal development. That's where it comes from. Read, listen, and talk to people who also personally develop. But speak about your goals in the present tense. Be aware that they are going to happen. Don't just put it in a list, put a date on it and say, right, okay, I've done that now. She'll get off my back. No, it's for your benefit. And I mentioned one of the books earlier, Brian Mayne's Goal Mapping, How to Turn Your Dreams into Realities. It really is a very good read. If you're not a reader, read some of it anyway. Learn to be a reader. It's good for you. Listening's great. Reading, it brings in a different dimension. So even if it's difficult, do some of it. Because I mention books and you think, okay, I'll have a look at that. But I don't always read all of the book at the one time, because I might not be ready to read all of the book at the one time. I might only be ready for part of it. Sometimes I go back to a book that I think I've read and discover that I can't remember maybe the second half of it at all. So, don't be afraid to lay it down and pick something else. Dennis Waitley, again, somebody I really enjoy, but quite an old writer, or it's written in an old style. The secret to productive goal setting is in establishing clearly defined goals, writing them down and then focusing on them several times a day with words, pictures, and emotions, as if we've already achieved them. And that's why it's important about the present tense, because feel how, if you've already got to where you want to be, how do you feel? How does that make you feel? Vincent van Gogh said, I dream of painting and then I paint my dream. So all of them did it, and all of them are there to look at it. Whoops, now I'm all finished. There we are, I have exited.